Welcome back to True Story with John Gibson. Today's guest is none other than UFC legend Chris the Crippler Leben.
What up, man? Thanks for having me.
Man, my pleasure as always. Thank you again for coming back on the show. Man, right out of the chute, I want to thank you again for finding the time to come on the show. You're such a busy guy. Not only are you a UFC legend and a current referee, but you're a coach. I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about a couple of your fighters. I know you're helping support them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So are they fighting this weekend? You have two people on a card. Is that correct?
Yeah. So here in San Diego, we have Cage Warriors, which, I'm sure most of your listeners are familiar. Yeah. Huge international show. And not only do I have two of my guys fighting, but it also happens to be my first pro show as a judge. So super excited. Don't worry, I'm not judging those two fights.
Gotcha. Well, congratulations though, man. I wasn't aware of that. That's huge.
Thank you. Yeah. Big day for me. New gym. We got two of our pros fighting. I'm going to be judging my first show, and it also happens to be my 4-year anniversary of sobriety too. Man. So congratulations. So it's amazing how all this stuff works out. You know what I mean? Just the blessings just keep rolling in, and tomorrow they're piled up. They're stacked up tomorrow. So super excited. The main event is Jordan Bailey, who's been with me for a long time. He's fighting Alex Trinidad, who is also a good friend of mine. He used to train at the gym that I worked at for years, the Arena. He's still at the Arena. I now have my own place, and we love each other, but the fight world is a small world. What are you going to do? Right. Their paths are crossing tomorrow night. So
right.
And then next on the card is Jamie Lynch. And Jamie's, Jordan's training partner. He's been with me for a while now. This entire camp, he's been training hard and being ready to go. And I mean, I think the sky's the limit for that kid too. He's been getting a lot of press. He's on the front page of the sports section here in San Diego today.
Awesome.
If he gets another win in this show, he gets another win in Cage Warriors. I think he might be the next one in the chute to make that move up.
Yeah. Awesome, man. What an exciting time in his career too. I wish them both the best, of course. I will be watching Cage Warriors, and I'll certainly reach out to both of them too and wish them luck, man.
Please
that's
do.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. I can't imagine a better coach in your corner. You have a world of experience. And again, as a fighter, referee, and soon to be judge, man, this is amazing. You're going to be like a Mount Rushmore guy in MMA. Like, it's really going to happen.
Well, MMA is my life, so, and a lifetime is long, and for me, that competitive part is over, but that doesn't mean that my martial arts career is over by any means, Right. I still feel like that there's so much for me to learn. I'm still continually developing. And I mean, after all, isn't that what martial arts is about? Continually progressing, always trying to become better, become more, and so for me, it's just, coaching, judging, repping are all logical progressions.
Man, it's really amazing. It's pretty inspiring because so many fighters, and it's like a normal thing for a fighter, your identity is wrapped up in that journey and the wins and the losses. And so many competitors in all sports really struggle with walking away. And I think it's pretty admirable that you've been able to say, hey, I still have stuff to learn and I still have stuff to give, and you can still remain in this sport that you love. And it's really hopefully inspiring to other fighters out there. They can pay attention and say that there's other avenues and stuff that they can still stay involved. It's amazing. You can still be a part of your passion.
Thank you. Yeah, there's other ways to be a part of it, and I do feel like, sometimes it can be rough watching guys when that's how they define themselves, and, it's time for them. We all know it's time for them, but the only person that doesn't want to admit it's time for them is them. It can be a rough thing to watch. In my case, my experience was pretty interesting because, I finished my UFC career. Definitely not the way I wanted, things didn't go well for me inside the cage, and they certainly weren't going well for me outside of the cage. Long story short, after, sobriety and changing how I eat, how I take care of my body, where I live, who I surround myself with, um, you know, I felt, that, what, I think that I want to finish my career on my terms.
Yeah.
So I did come back, but I had 4 fights, and I feel like now I can walk away the competitive part of my career. I can walk away from that, knowing that I finished on my terms and I went out the way that I wanted to go out.
Yeah. Man, your bare knuckle, that second chapter of your career was so exciting. And I think it actually really highlighted, like, as a Chris Leben fan, it's wild. We always knew you were going to go in and bang, as they say. But when you were bare knuckling, it really, like, really showed your technique. It was for me, it was the first time I saw how crisp you were and how you moved. Like, you were so agile and stuff. I was like, man, this is awesome. Seriously.
Well,
though,
I don't know. Agile isn't a word I get a lot.
No, it's true, man. I mean, anybody who's ever drilled any stand-up and knows what it's like to have to just turn like this, how difficult that could be. Holy crap.
It is funny because, something that I do get a lot, is, oh, Chris landed another lucky shot, or whatever. And it frustrates me sometimes. It's like, how many times can you be lucky?
Yeah.
But when you see the bare knuckle, it looks like a street fight to maybe to the untrained eye, because it's so fast and vicious, but everything in those exchanges is trained and drilled over and over and over again.
Yeah. And it's really interesting to see how that sport, sport's been around forever, but it's really interesting to see how the sport itself is resurrected. Like, every star, not every, but a lot of stars are getting in there now, and they're making that transition. Thiago Alves, all these guys, Lombard, Hector Lombard, all these people.
I think it's great. A lot of these guys that have names, it gives them a chance to go out there and I also think it's bringing more eyes to combat sports. I mean, the bottom line is, even sometimes, and I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but sometimes I don't even know what's going on or what a guy's looking for when I'm watching a high level jiu-jitsu match. And I'm like, oh, that's what he was doing.
Yeah, sure.
Everybody understands a bare knuckle fight,
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. I don't care how versed you are in combat sports. Anybody can watch a bare knuckle fight and go, that guy's winning and that guy's losing. And I think that aspect of it makes it appeal to a lot of people. It really broadens the basis of who wants to watch that.
Yes, I agree. Absolutely. Well, you touched on this too. I want to switch gears a little, but you touched on it a little bit already. But I was going to ask you words of wisdom for anybody that's walking the road of sobriety or considering it. But considering you have your anniversary coming up, I want to just say again, congratulations, man. That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's 4 years. That's 4 really important years of your life, man. So do you want to just expand on maybe some of the changes? You said you changed your diet as well. And are those sort of things would help you kind of
yes, I changed everything. I really started trying hard probably about 6 years ago, in all honesty. I had those first 2 years, I had 2 slip-ups, but the last 4 years has been absolutely nothing, no drugs, no alcohol, nothing, caffeine and nicotine, man. That's it,
Sure.
But so what I mean by that is it's not easy.
Okay.
It's a difficult journey. It was something that I wanted for a long time, but until I really was committed and willing to do the deal and do the things that are required, until I was ready to change everything, I could never accomplish it. So for me, I had to, like changing, where I live, going through my phone and deleting the majority of the phone numbers in my phone. That was a big part of it. Changing who I hung around with, changing what I did for fun. All those things had to happen for me to be sober and to be able to maintain and stay sober. But now, 4 years down the road, I can go anywhere. I can hang out with anybody. I can do anything. If people want to watch the UFC at a bar, I'm fine. It doesn't even bother me anymore. It's awesome. Because I took the allotted steps, necessary, but obviously it wasn't like that at first, so I understand the struggle, and anybody that's listening, if they ever want to hit me up on Instagram or social media, I'm definitely, there's a spot in my heart for anybody with that battle. And I'll definitely, point them in the right direction, give them the best, guidance that I can.
Awesome, man. Thank you for that. And the right person who needs to hear it's going to hear that. So that's awesome, man. That's very kind of you. One last thing I wanted to talk to you about, because, this has been so positive. I almost hate to bring it up, but you had a really, really difficult bout with COVID. I mean, I was monitoring social media and very thankful for, I guess, your wife or whoever was able to kind of give us some updates. But man, I know you had a really bad run of it. And again, I just want to talk to you about your experience there and how you're feeling now. Are you back to 100%?
No, not 100%. I feel like I'm back to 70 or 80%, as far as like cognitively, I'm 100% now. Physically, I can really do anything. It's just when I'm training hard, when I'm doing hard rounds and jiu-jitsu and stuff, there was some lung damage. So I do gas a little bit sooner, but I'll be honest, man. If I would have walked out of that hospital with no legs, well, I guess I couldn't have walked out, but if I would have left with no legs or whatever, I would have been grateful. I would have been happy, because if there's one thing that whole experience taught me is, and it sounds really cliche, you always hear it, you're not going to care about how much money you got or what kind of car you drive, or, it's fucking true. When you're laying in there on your deathbed, it's the relationships you have with people. It was my chick, it was my child, it was all the things, all the life that I was going to miss. It wasn't that I was scared to die. It was just, there was so much more life I have left to live, so ultimately, going through that experience, I really feel like I came out a different person. I just came out with just so much gratitude,
Yeah.
When I get home from the gym at 9 o'clock at night, I'm exhausted, and my 4-year-old is climbing on the back of my head and shaking me like this. You know what? It's gratitude. Sometimes I just start crying. I'm serious. I just start crying because I'm so freaking happy, that I have so much going for me, and I'm in a position where, I have a gym and I get a coach, I get to help people. My recovery is going well. I try to spread that as much as possible, and I have a wonderful family. Before I went in, I didn't think about all these blessings.
Right.
You just take them for granted.
I know, it's so tough. Yeah.
And I know that sounds cliche, but
true.
Literally that's what I left with. And I try to remind myself of that every day, of that feeling that, it's because it could be gone in an instant.
Yes, of course, man. So wise of you. It's amazing how you've really, it's crazy. It's just the Chris, the crippler, Leben, like my man, you're really one of the most, you're full of wisdom and you're so mature, and again, gratitude and these positive things. It's just, you were a wild man.
And you know what that did? It taught me a lot, because I've been through a lot of shit.
Yeah, right. You've
had to do the hard stuff, ups too. And downs, and when you've been through, I mean, not that other people haven't, but when you've been through as many ups and downs as I have, you eventually learn, hey, wait a minute, the middle of the road is just it's a little smoother path, and And really, I think over the years, I've learned that, you know what, it's not about the peaks and valleys. It's about trying to stay in the middle of the road and just progressively increase the quality of life every day, you know? So every day, you know, I'm focused on really, you know, how much can I help other people? And the more that I do that, the better I feel, you know.
Right.
So it's selfish in the end. It's selfish, but you know, it works out for me.
Yeah, no, I understand completely. Yeah, that's awesome, man. It doesn't get any better than that. To that end, I mean, I know people can reach you on Instagram. Do you have another Instagram for your academy in case people want to come train in the San
Yeah,
Diego Academy?
yeah. It's the training center _SD. You know, on Instagram. That of course, you know, they can, you know, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. I don't think it's too hard. If anybody wants to come train with me, it won't take long for them to find the gym Instagram and get a hold of us.
Awesome.
Or even reach out to me on my Instagram. If you direct message me, I will get back to you. It might take me a day, but I will definitely get back to you.
Yeah, Chris, you're the man. Thank you again so much for making the time. Good luck to your fighters tomorrow. I'll be watching. Again, this is True Story. Chris Leben.
Right on. Thank you, man.
Thank
Have
you.
a good one.